The house in the forest. It was a cold, dark night, and the wind was blowing hard through the trees. Anna walked carefully along the forest path, holding her flashlight tight. She was on her way to visit her grandmother, who lived deep in the woods. The trees moved like shadows, and strange sounds came from the bushes. Anna tried to stay calm, but her heart was beating fast. She felt like something was not right. Suddenly, she heard a stick break behind her like someone was walking. She turned quickly, but saw only darkness and trees. "Probably just an animal," she whispered to herself. She kept walking, and soon she saw a small light in the distance. It was her grandmother's house, warm and safe, or so she thought. Anna felt a little better and walked faster. When she reached the house, she noticed the front door was open. Her grandmother never left the door open at night. A cold feeling ran down her back. "Grandma!" she called softly as she entered. The house was quiet, too quiet. There were no lights on inside, only the moonlight through the window. She walked to the kitchen, but it was empty. No food, no kettle, nothing on the table. It didn't feel like someone lived here anymore. Upstairs, she heard something move, soft footsteps, slow and heavy. She froze for a moment, afraid to breathe. Then she slowly climbed the stairs. The door to the bedroom was slightly open, moving gently. Anna pushed it open with her hand, heart pounding. Inside it was very dark. She turned on her flashlight and pointed it at the bed. The blanket was messy, and the pillow was on the floor. But her grandmother was not there. Suddenly, the door behind her slammed shut. Anna jumped and dropped her flashlight. The light went out, and the room became black. She tried to open the door, but it was locked. Her hands were shaking as she turned the knob again and again. Then she heard a whisper behind her. The voice said, "Anna." Soft and strange. She turned around slowly, heart frozen. There was a shadow near the window. It was tall and thin, with long arms and no face. The thing moved closer without sound. Anna stepped back but hit the wall. She grabbed a lamp from the table and threw it. The shadow disappeared as the lamp hit the floor. But when she looked again, it was behind her. Anna screamed and ran toward the window. She tried to open it, but it wouldn't move. The air became colder, and her breath turned white. Behind her, the shadow whispered again, "Why did you come?" Anna didn't answer. She just kept pushing the window with all her strength. Suddenly, the window opened, and Anna fell out. She landed hard on the ground but didn't stop running. She ran into the dark forest, breathing fast. Branches hit her face, and her feet slipped in the mud. But she didn't care. She just wanted to get away from the house. After a while, she stopped and looked back. The house was gone. There was only darkness and trees. Anna was lost. She didn't know which way to go. Her phone had no signal and the battery was low. Suddenly, she saw a light between the trees. It looked like a small cabin. She walked toward it, hoping to find help. The cabin was old, with broken windows and a door hanging open. Anna called, "Hello? Is anyone here?" No one answered. She stepped inside and saw old furniture covered in dust. The place smelled like smoke and mold. But it was warmer than outside. She sat on a chair and took a deep breath. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind her again. She stood up quickly, heart racing. Footsteps came from upstairs. Low. Heavy. Anna didn't want to move, but her legs started walking by themselves. She climbed the stairs without thinking. The hallway above was dark and cold. At the end there was a closed door. Anna reached the door and touched the handle. It was ice cold. When she opened it, she saw a mirror inside the room. The mirror showed her face, but her eyes were black. She stepped back in shock. The mirror laughed. Suddenly, the shadow from her grandmother's house appeared in the mirror. It reached out from the glass. Anna tried to scream. The hand from the mirror touched her shoulder. It was cold and soft like fog. Anna ran out of the room without looking back. Down the stairs, the house began to shake. The walls cracked, and dust filled the air. Something was waking up inside the cabin. Anna found the front door and pulled it open. The wind was howling outside. She ran into the forest again, crying. She didn't know where she was going. Everything looked the same, dark trees and fog. Her legs were tired, but she couldn't stop. After what felt like hours, she saw a road. A small red car was coming down the hill. She waved her arms and screamed for help. The car stopped, and an old man got out. He asked, "Are you okay?" Anna ran to him and hugged him tightly. She told him about the house, the shadow, and the mirror. He looked at her with wide eyes. He said, "That cabin burned down 30 years ago." Anna froze. "What do you mean?" "I was just inside it." The old man shook his head slowly. "No one goes there. It's cursed." He helped her into the car and gave her a warm blanket. He said, "We need to take you home. You must be very cold." Anna nodded, still shaking. She didn't speak the whole ride. She kept thinking about the shadow and the mirror. The car drove through the forest, and finally reached her village. The old man stopped in front of her house. It looked peaceful. Anna thanked the man and got out. But before she could enter, she noticed something strange. Her front door was open. She walked slowly to the door, heart beating fast again. She called, "Mom? Dad?" But there was no answer. The house was silent. Inside the living room, she saw something that made her stop. There on the wall was the same mirror from the cabin. Her reflection looked back at her, but it wasn't moving. The eyes were still black. And then the mirror smiled. Anna stepped back from the mirror, terrified. The house was cold and quiet again. She didn't know if she was dreaming or awake. She ran upstairs to find her parents. Their rooms were empty, the beds untouched. It was like no one had lived there for years. Anna sat on the floor and cried. She felt completely alone. Outside, the wind blew louder than ever. Suddenly, the lights flickered, then turned off. She heard footsteps downstairs again. Slow, heavy, and coming closer. She held her breath and hid in her closet. Through the small crack in the door, she saw a shadow moving. It stopped in front of her room. The shadow didn't open the door. It just stood there like it was listening. Then it turned and went back down the stairs. After a long silence, Anna came out slowly. The house was completely quiet now. She walked downstairs to check the mirror. The mirror was gone. In its place, there was only a black mark on the wall. She touched it, and her fingers came back cold and wet. Suddenly a voice whispered in her ear, "You brought it back." Anna turned around, but no one was there. She ran outside again into the cold night. The village was silent, no lights in any houses. It was like time had stopped. She walked to the neighbor's house and knocked. No answer. She opened the door. It was empty inside, full of dust. Every house she entered was the same. Empty, dark, and frozen in time. She was the only one left. Suddenly, her phone buzzed in her pocket. It was a message. "Welcome home, Anna." She dropped the phone in fear. She looked up and saw the mirror again, floating in the street. Her own reflection waved at her, and then stepped out. The other Anna smiled and took her hand. "You belong here now," she whispered. And the village disappeared into the fog.